Most people have already agreed to a life they don't want. Not by saying yes, but by never saying no. Most people, maybe even yourself, maybe even me, just accept where you're at, and that's that. You know, any one of us has plenty of excuses to explain why we're at where we're at, right? Whether it's childhood or the government or the world just hates me, right? And then you're just stuck at a 9 to 5 job or whatever hourly it is, and you just accept it, right? Maybe it's bearable. You get a raise here and there, you buy some stuff here and there you can't really afford on a credit card, and you kind of just go through the motions like most people, and just until you're old and retiring now, and now it's like, oh, I can't afford to retire. And it's one of those things that so many of us just accept, right? It just, that's life. Here we're at. There's nothing we can do. you know and it's sad because for the people that do that, they're not going to see the negative outcome of their choices until when it's too late, right? When they're old and it's like, well, I can't go back to school, or I don't want to learn this and that, or no one wants to hire me, or you get to a point in life where you may even ask yourself, what was the point of my life? What impact did I even have in life, right? And that's a sad part for a lot of people. They just go through the motions, and that's that. I mean, unless something happens in their life that pushes them to change, they're just fine where they're at, right? And that may not be a bad thing, but when it comes down to a point in your life where being just fine isn't just fine, emergency bill comes up, you know, having a child, you know, paying for surgery, or wanting to do more for your family, being fine isn't fine, right? It's a thing that people just accept. Like, hey, that's life. That's how it's always meant to be, right? It is what it is, right? A lot of us may say that, and it is what it is when we just accept it. Like, hey, this is our life, these are our choices, and we're just gonna go through the motions, just not take any actions. And like I said, very few may take actions, but that's because of external components, never inside of you, right? And for me, I was the same way, right? I just like, well, I'll go to school, graduate, and get a good paying job, and just go through the motions, right? Just like everyone else, right? That's just what we grew up with, right? Go to school, get a good paying job, and then from there you just figure it out, right? But when that doesn't happen, and now you're stuck at a job that you don't enjoy, right? Or you just don't have fulfillment from it, right? You're there just solely for a paycheck, and that's it. And you go home with whatever time left over to not really do anything meaningful. And you're just doing that week by week, month by month, year by year, decade by decade. And then at the end of your life, you're like, well, that's it, right? Just and there's probably people out there that do it, just accept their fate and just say, yeah, that's the life I want to live, and that's how I want to die by. So okay, to each their own, but most people don't want to live a life like that. They want to have the freedom to do, for the most part, what they want, right? It's understandable. Not everyone can can have a yacht, private jet, all this stuff, but wouldn't it be nice to not worry about bills, to not worry about anything that comes up, emergency surgery or anything like that. And maybe every so often take yourself or even your family to a trip, somewhere. It doesn't have to be across the world, but maybe just somewhere, beach, just some unique destination that before you couldn't possibly see yourself ever planning out, right? And it just, the thing is, when people accept their fate and they don't make they don't take any actions to change it, all that dreams that people think of just flies away, right? Maybe if you get lucky, right? Maybe you get that promotion, maybe it pays more, but there's a lot of people, I've seen, like let's say grocery store, right? Someone's that been there for like 26 years and they're like old, and it's like 26 years, you're a bag. And like I said, not hating or anything, like maybe they enjoy that and whatnot, but just like for most people, they don't want to be on the same job or at least same position for 20, 30 years and still working that as much as they physically can till they just can no longer and have to retire, right? But the thing is, they accept it, right? Hey, I don't know anything, right? But now we're in the age of technology that every answer is in our fingertips, phone, tablet, you name it. I mean, you can probably on your refrigerator you can look up answers, right? You got AI now, so like the excuse of I don't know how to do this and that. I mean, that's just an excuse. Sure, yeah, you're gonna have to take time and effort to learn things, but it's getting to the point where people just accept their fate and their circumstances and don't make anything of it, right? And so look around your life now. What's the one thing you've been accepting that you shouldn't, right? Saying no to it today. Because if you don't say no today and I'll do it tomorrow or next day or next week, you just keep pushing it back. I've been there. So say no to it today because you shouldn't be doing it, but you just keep doing it, right? So, well, that's it for today. I'm Adonis. Have a good day. See ya.